21%. That's Florida's 65 and over population right now. Florida has 4.63 million residents aged 65 and older. That's the highest concentration of seniors in the entire United States. And every single one of them needs transportation to medical appointments, dialysis 3 times weekly, cardiology checkups monthly, physical therapy twice weekly, cancer treatment appointments. The demand isn't coming, it's already here. What if the operators building 6-figure NEMT businesses in Florida aren't just entering a high-demand market, but navigating the exact regulatory sequence, MCO relationships, and facility partnerships that turn Florida's massive retiree population into predictable monthly revenue? Because when you start NEMT Florida operations, you're not just entering a high-demand market, you're navigating one of the most regulated NEMT licensing systems in the country. The Florida AHCA license requirements are strict, the competition is intense, and the operators who don't understand Florida-specific regulations wash out before completing their first 100 trips. Welcome to Nemiton, the place where NEMT entrepreneurs come to build empires. Hey Nemiton Nation! By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to start NEMT Business Florida the right way. We're breaking down the Florida AHCA license process, the managed care organizations controlling trip assignments, the best markets from Miami to Orlando, and why Florida's retiree population makes this the highest earning NEMT state in America. This is the complete blueprint for building a NEMT business Florida operators use to dominate one of the country's most profitable markets. Understanding the Florida AHCA regulatory system. Let's start with what makes starting NEMT Florida different from every other state: the regulatory body. Florida NEMT services are regulated by the Agency for Healthcare Administration, known as AHCA. This is your licensing authority. This is who approves your operation. This is who conducts compliance audits. And this is who has the power to suspend your contracts if you violate regulations. When you start NEMT Business Florida, you need to obtain a Certificate of Public Convenience and Necessity. This CPCN certificate is obtained through local government, not directly through AHCA. A Certificate of Need, CPCN, for home health agencies is issued by the Florida Agency for Healthcare Administration, AHCA, in accordance with Florida law, not by local government entities. Actually, there's confusion about this licensing process that trips up most new operators. Some sources mention Certificate of Need requirements, but Florida's Certificate of Need program applies to hospitals, nursing homes, and hospice facilities, not to NEMT providers. You don't need a CON for NEMT operations. You need the CPCN through your local jurisdiction. Instead, NEMT operations in Florida typically require a Certificate of Public Convenience and Necessity, CPCN, issued at the local county or municipal government level. So, here's the actual licensing sequence when you start NEMT Florida. First, register your business entity with the Florida Division of Corporations. LLC formation costs $125 in Florida. Second, obtain your federal EIN from the IRS, which is free. Third, apply for your National Provider Identifier through NPPES, which takes 10 to 15 business days and costs nothing. Fourth, secure your commercial insurance meeting Florida's specific coverage requirements. Florida AHCA mandates comprehensive coverage, including commercial auto liability, general liability, professional liability, and workers' compensation once you hire employees. Fifth, obtain your CPCN certificate from your local government. Requirements vary by county, but expect to provide business documentation, proof of insurance, vehicle inspection records, and driver qualification files. Sixth, complete Florida Medicaid provider enrollment to bill Medicaid for transportation services. This enrollment process takes 30 to 90 days and requires your NPI, business license, tax ID, and proof of AHCA compliance. Quick favor, if this Florida AHCA license breakdown is making sense, hit that like button. Helps YouTube show this to more operators trying to start NEMT Florida. Takes half a second. The Florida Managed Care Landscape. Moving to the system that controls your revenue when you start NEMT Business Florida. Managed Care Organizations. Florida implemented statewide Medicaid Managed Care 3.0 on February 1, 2025. This new 6-year contract period involves 8 managed care organizations coordinating healthcare for approximately 3 million Medicaid recipients. These MCOs control NEMT trip assignments. You're not billing Medicaid directly for most trips. You're contracting with MCOs who coordinate transportation on behalf of their Medicaid members. The major MCOs operating in the Florida NEMT business include traditional managed care organizations like United Healthcare of Florida, Sunshine State Health Plan, Humana Medical Plan, Molina Healthcare of Florida, and AmeriGroup Florida. There are also specialty plans serving specific populations like HIV/AIDS patients, foster care children, and individuals with severe mental illness. But there's a broker layer that sits between you and the MCOs. MTM Health, which acquired Veo in 2022, is one of the largest NEMT brokers operating in Florida. MTM coordinates transportation for multiple MCOs. Modivcare operates extensively in Florida. Logisticare maintains contracts. Access to Care serves various Florida regions. The strategy when you start NEMT Florida is contracting with brokers and building direct relationships with MCOs. Apply to MTM, Modivcare, Logisticare, and Access to Care simultaneously. But also reach out to the MCOs themselves, because some handle NEMT coordination in-house for certain service areas. The 5 best Florida markets for NEMT. Continue to market selection when you start the NEMT business in Florida. Where you operate determines profitability. Market 1, Miami-Dade County. Miami-Dade has a population of 2.69 million, making it Florida's largest county. The population of older adults in Miami-Dade will increase from 394,328 in 2015 to 674,264 by 2040. That's a 71% increase in your target demographic. Miami-Dade's NEMT market is characterized by high trip density, diverse language requirements with significant Spanish, Haitian Creole, and French-speaking populations, and extensive healthcare infrastructure. The challenge is intense competition. The opportunity is a massive volume. Market 2, Broward County. Broward County has 1.96 million residents. This includes Fort Lauderdale, Pembroke Pines, and Hollywood. Broward's elderly population creates consistent demand for NEMT services, particularly for dialysis transportation and specialty medical appointments in the South Florida corridor. Market 3, Palm Beach County. Palm Beach County's population is 1.53 million. This market has high concentrations of affluent retirees, creating opportunities for premium private pay NEMT services alongside Medicaid contracts. West Palm Beach, Boca Raton, and Boynton Beach have significant senior living communities requiring regular medical transportation. Market 4, Hillsborough County and Tampa. Hillsborough County has 1.54 million residents. Tampa's market offers lower competition than South Florida, while maintaining strong demand. The presence of major medical centers, including Tampa General Hospital, Moffitt Cancer Center, and numerous dialysis facilities, creates consistent trip volume. Market 5, Orange County and Orlando. Orange County's population is 1.47 million. Orlando is Florida's fastest-growing metro area. While known for tourism, Orlando has a rapidly expanding healthcare infrastructure and a growing retiree population in surrounding counties like Lake County and Seminole County. The strategic insight when you start NEMT Florida is understanding that Florida's 75-plus population is projected to increase by 64% between 2022 and 2037, ensuring sustained and increasing demand for NEMT services, compared to just 16.84% nationwide. Every Florida market has above-average elderly demographics. You're not searching for demand. You're choosing which abundant market fits your operational capacity. Florida's retiree advantage, the special angle. Moving to what makes the Florida NEMT business uniquely profitable: the retiree population. Florida has the greatest proportion of older population in the United States, at approximately 19% to 21%, depending on the measurement year. This isn't temporary. Florida attracts approximately 1,000 new residents daily, many of them retirees. Here's why this matters for your NEMT business in Florida operations. Retirees need regular medical transportation. They're not occasional users. They're consistent weekly customers. Dialysis transportation represented 29.42% of the NEMT market, and dialysis patients require 3 trips weekly. That's 12 trips monthly per patient. One dialysis center with 20 patients generates 240 monthly trips. Florida's retiree population also creates private pay opportunities. Affluent seniors living in retirement communities often prefer private transportation services over Medicaid contracted providers. They'll pay $75 to $150 per trip for professional, reliable service. One private pay client generating 8 trips monthly at $100 per trip adds $800 monthly recurring revenue. Actually, there's another demographic advantage when you start NEMT Florida. The 85 and older population is growing faster than any other age group. This segment requires the most medical transportation because they have the highest rates of chronic conditions, mobility limitations, and healthcare utilization. Quick pause. If you're serious about launching in Florida's competitive market, you need state-specific intelligence that goes beyond basic licensing requirements. We've put together the State Launch Readiness Checklist that covers Florida AHCA certification, MCO contracting strategy, county-by-county market analysis, and facility partnership templates. It's not theory. It's the same framework successful Florida operators use to navigate this complex regulatory environment. You can get it free. Link in the description. All right, here's how to actually win in Florida's competitive NEMT market. Vehicle requirements and fleet strategy for Florida. Continue to vehicle strategy when you start NEMT business Florida. Florida's climate creates specific vehicle considerations. Heat, humidity, and salt air accelerate vehicle deterioration. The operators who buy cheap used vans from northern states discover within 12 months that rust and electrical problems destroy profitability. When you start NEMT Florida, prioritize vehicles with functioning air conditioning systems. This isn't optional. Florida's average summer temperatures exceed 90 degrees. Elderly patients and individuals with medical conditions cannot tolerate heat. One AC failure during a July transport creates complaints that damage your broker relationships. The optimal Florida NEMT fleet starts with wheelchair-accessible vans. Florida's elderly population has high wheelchair and mobility device usage. A fleet of only ambulatory vehicles limits your contract opportunities. Wheelchair-accessible transport already captures 43.71% of the NEMT market nationally, and Florida's percentage is even higher due to age demographics. Well-maintained used wheelchair vans cost $18,000 to $98,000 for 2018 to 2020 models. When buying used in Florida, inspect for rust around wheel wells and undercarriage. Verify AC compressor functionality. Check electrical systems thoroughly because Florida humidity causes corrosion that northern operators never experience. Driver hiring in Florida's competitive market. Moving to driver recruitment when you start NEMT Florida. Florida's tourism and service economy creates competition for drivers. Hotels, restaurants, theme parks, and rideshare companies all recruit from the same labor pool. Your NEMT Business Florida operation competes with employers offering similar wages but potentially easier work. The competitive driver wage in Florida markets ranges from $15 to $22 hourly, depending on location. Miami-Dade and Broward require higher wages due to the cost of living. Tampa and Orlando markets average $16 to $19 hourly. Rural counties may hire at $15 to $17 hourly. But there's a retention strategy specific to Florida that reduces turnover. Offer consistent schedules. Florida's tourism economy creates unpredictable seasonal employment. NEMT provides year-round stability that matters to drivers with families. Also, leverage Florida's bilingual population. Miami-Dade County is 66% Hispanic. Bilingual Spanish-English drivers create a competitive advantage when serving this market. Haitian Creole speakers are valuable in Broward County communities. Offering language-appropriate transportation improves patient satisfaction and reduces complaint rates. Insurance costs in Florida's high-premium market. Continue to the financial reality when you start NEMT Business Florida. Insurance costs. Florida has some of the highest commercial auto insurance premiums in the United States. NEMT insurance costs range from $2,000 to $12,000 annually per vehicle, depending on location and coverage. In Florida's urban markets, expect premiums toward the upper range. Miami-Dade operators often pay $6,000 to $8,000 annually per vehicle. Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach run $5,500 to $7,000. Tampa and Orlando average $4,500 to $6,000. Rural counties like Levy or Citrus might see $3,500 to $5,000. The reason Florida NEMT insurance costs more is litigation environment. Florida has high rates of auto accident lawsuits and insurance fraud. Insurers price this risk into premiums. You can't avoid it. You can only plan for it. The mitigation strategy when you start NEMT Florida is maintaining clean driver records, implementing dash camera systems in all vehicles, and working with insurance brokers specializing in NEMT rather than standard commercial policies. NEMT-specific insurers understand the risk profile and often provide better rates than general commercial insurers. Facility partnerships, the Florida gold mine. Moving to the revenue strategy that separates successful Florida NEMT business operators from struggling ones. Facility partnerships. Florida has the highest concentration of dialysis centers, assisted living facilities, nursing homes, and senior care communities in the United States. Each facility is a potential revenue source, generating hundreds of monthly trips. When you start NEMT Business Florida, target dialysis centers first. Dialysis patients require 3 weekly trips. One center with 25 patients generates 300 monthly trips. At average Medicaid reimbursement, that's $10,500 to $15,000 monthly from a single facility relationship. Assisted living facilities are the second target. Florida has thousands of assisted living communities serving retirees who need transportation to medical appointments, shopping, and social activities. These facilities often pay premium rates for reliable transportation partners. Cancer treatment centers are the third opportunity. Florida's elderly population has high cancer diagnosis rates. Oncology appointments often require multiple weekly visits during treatment cycles. Partnering with oncology practices creates consistent trip volume. The pitch when approaching facilities is simple. You eliminate their no-show problem. When patients can't get to appointments, facilities lose revenue. When you guarantee reliable transportation, you're solving their operational challenge. Navigating Florida's Medicaid billing system. Continue to billing strategy when you start NEMT Florida. Florida Medicaid billing must meet strict documentation requirements. Every trip requires patient eligibility verification, prior authorization from the MCO or broker, electronic trip logging, and proper service coding. The claim denial rate in NEMT often reaches 10% to 15% due to documentation errors. In Florida, that percentage is higher because of strict MCO compliance standards. Missing patient signatures, incorrect service dates, unauthorized trips, or mileage disputes cause rejections. The solution is automated billing software. Platforms like RouteGenie, TobyCloud, and Bambi integrate with Florida's MCO systems. They auto-verify eligibility, generate proper service codes, and submit claims electronically. Manual billing past 100 monthly trips becomes unmanageable. If you're serious about starting NEMT Business Florida at scale, budget $400 to $800 monthly for comprehensive NEMT software with broker integration, GPS tracking, and automated billing. If you're getting value from this Florida AHCA license and market strategy breakdown, subscribe to the channel. We publish 3 to 4 videos weekly covering state-specific NEMT guides, compliance, operations, and scaling. Every video is designed to help you build profitable operations in your market. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next state series. Florida is the highest opportunity NEMT market in America. 4.63 million residents over 65, growing 1,000 new residents daily. The demand is massive. The reimbursement rates are competitive, and the facility partnership opportunities are unmatched. But the operators who succeed when they start NEMT Florida understand the regulatory requirements. They navigate the Florida AHCA license process correctly. They contract with the right MCOs and brokers. They position in the best markets, and they build facility relationships that generate consistent revenue. The path to six figures in Florida isn't paved with luck. It's built with state-specific intelligence, strategic MCO relationships, and the operational frameworks that turn massive demand into predictable profit. If this video showed you the complete Florida launch strategy, you'll want the state launch readiness checklist. It covers every AHCA requirement, MCO contact directory, market analysis, and facility partnership template we discussed today. It's available free. Check the description.